This is Shomali from What's the Jam,
This is Saurabh from Hestia.
and we are here live with Chronic Xorn, Armament and Inhuman, tuning in with us on the occasion of the Pit's 10th edition. We are privileged to have the veterans of the metal scene here with us today for this exclusive interview, where we will be talking about the Pit's 10th edition, its history and legacy, and what to expect this year as this event is going to celebrate its 10th anniversary. So maybe start with a little bit of an introduction to yourselves.
We are Chronic Xorn, and it's always a privilege for all of us to be a part of this beautiful. We call it beautiful because we have lot of emotions and lot of memories and nostalgia related to the pit, and every time we play, it's a different feeling altogether. We have already played so many concerts in Kolkata, outside Kolkata, maybe outside India also. But then again, there's something special about Pit because it's more like it's our baby.
I am Ankit and I'm from the band Inhuman. We are one of the founding members of the Pit, and so it has always been like a huge thing for us, because one of the first things we were one of the bands we decided that we're not going to play any of the college competition gigs and anything anymore, and it was out of that thing, because that was the only platform that metal bands had at that point in time, that the Pit was kind of born, because it was because things that we saw and the way judges and all used to say things which was ridiculous. Like they expected us to play a metal song and then a Pink Floyd song or something like that. That was literally told on like some of the things. So it was basically a bunch of 5 bands of that point of time who were playing metal to come, and it is sentimentally very like a special thing for me, especially because I gave the name also to it at that point of time, and also we always try to do something unique for every pit. Like the very first pit, I think we had Trislanda, which is Duvash singing a song with us, and things like that, like something always different which we don't do at other gigs. So Pit has always been a huge thing for me personally as a member, and for the band and our history that is associated with it. It's always great.
Okay, I guess Armament is next.
Hi guys, this is Indranil and this is Vivek from Armament, and we were formed back in 2011, and since then we have been playing all across India, Kolkata, and of course we are fortunate enough to play a few gigs outside the country as well. And with Pit, me personally, I have been following Pit I think since 2009-10, I guess, probably a little late into the scene when it comes to the emerging timeline of the Kolkata metal scene. We have seen like a lot of metal events happening in Kolkata in the last 10-15 years, and the diversity of the gigs have been really something which we can look forward to. And there has been like an emergence of old school music, new school music, and there has been riffs. At the same time, there has been a situation where things come along together and make something bigger. And I think this is where this event comes into play, because this is the 10th edition of the Pit, and we are looking forward to this massive event. And this is the first time we'll be a part of Pit, and it's a huge honor, and we are pretty much excited. We are very excited to be a part of it for this gig. And yeah, regarding the band, so we have been playing like since 2011, like you said, and we just recently concluded our Endless Aggression tour, which was all across South India and the Northeast.
We were 6 states.
6 states we covered. So we just recently concluded that in August, and it's always good to come back to the city and perform in one of the oldest events, metal events that has been there. And yeah, pretty much excited.
Okay, so let's get to the thick of things. As our viewers must be aware that the PT is going to celebrate its 10th anniversary edition this year, November 5th, 2022. and we have the privilege to have among us three of the oldest bands, metal bands from Kolkata, and who have been associated with this event right from its nascent days. So my first question is to all of the bands that we have here. So the first question is, so you are three of the oldest bands from the Kolkata metal scene, right? And you guys have played a significant role in shaping the scene right from the scratch. Uh, Take us down, take us on a trip down the memory lane, talking about your experiences playing gigs back in the days, like, back the days of the first edition and, the days leading up to the, maiden edition of the Pit. And how was the scene back then? And how was the reception from the crowd and overall, picture of the scene back then?
So, the thing is, in this discussion today, the only other person other than me is Sunny over here, who's been there from day one. So, what I would say is like the Pit was actually born, and the bands involved were Chronic Xorn, Cicatrix, Diet B, who little became Evil Conscience, Noise Academy, Us, Inhuman, and am I missing out? And Sinful Oath. So these were the bands, and the funny thing was like we all came up around that period of 2007, 2008, and there was really no the social media still hadn't like really become something, and we actually got to know the existence of each other in college fests and all. And there was a show called Scholastic Beats and all. We suddenly realized we all play metal, different styles, but there. And then we started meeting each other in different college fests, but they were all like really terrible. Like at times, like the judges and all, they just couldn't wait to like put you down. Like I remember seeing a fest like when Atmahatya were playing, and they had just like this was like and Inhuman, and none of these bands were still formed, and we saw like they were probably the best band that day, but even just because they were a metal band, like literally they were like just robbed completely, and some other band was like given like a position. So that was very rampant back then, and the judges did not make any qualms about it. Like the audience also wasn't there. Like there were very few metalheads. Some people would literally, like I've seen in Jadavpur University, of all places, like a band performing, and people in the front row literally like mocking the band just because it was growling or doing stuff like that. So that is when we all the bands like we all decided that this is not going to happen. You can't go to college fest and get humiliated like that, because like they think you're like some ugly duckling of the scene. And so that is how the Pit was born. We put everything together, and the very first show, maybe like about, it was just the bands, us, and it was a free show at Topun Theatre. And so people, very curious people, would just like walk in, and so we had like about 70 or 65 to 70 people who turned up. But it was a lot of fun. It was like basically like everybody who used to play that kind of music, we've suddenly found each other in that same event, and we actually enjoyed it because we were all basically like peddling our own material to the other person. The second Pit happened, and that was suddenly like a revelation to us. We saw school kids come up, and very soon, like I kind of dropped out after kind of 2010 because I graduated and on. And very soon after the Pit, I see like where Armament and all these guys, Putrid Ascendancy and Cosmo, all these come up, and it was fantastic to see, like from a scene where metal was literally seen as like a mutant, ugly child of the music, where everybody was playing classic rock, and how well somebody could do a Pink Floyd or a Doors song was hailed as like a great band. You suddenly had like this emergence, and these people were not apologetic. They were like very confident. They knew what they loved, and it was happening. And I was very glad this happened. And yeah, that's where the Pit, and now we are here. Now we have how many shows in a month? How many metal gigs in a month? Just think about it.
The repercussions of the metal music coming into Kolkata, like I think that has been pretty much well explained by Shivam and Ankit. And I'll just like to add, like, yeah, just like Ankit said, like after Pit and all after Naktala, Metal Pulli, and Pit and all these events, the chain of events happening, and Cosma and Putrid Ascendancy, it has been great. Like the best thing about all these years that we have noticed from the audience perspective is like there has been a lot of changes. Like there have been so many new faces coming in, and we don't see like everybody that we have noticed probably from day one. A lot of people have unfortunately got out of it, but the best thing about the entire Kolkata scene, what we see is like there are new faces, at every gig and every stages, every 2-3 years, you'll see a new wave,
And there are bands
a lot
emerging
of
as
people.
well.
There are so many bands
Coming
emerging.
up.
Yes,
Yeah.
and gigs. So obviously, and there are like so many. I think Kolkata is hosting the maximum number of
gigs
metal
in India.
gigs in India at the moment, which is the best thing to see. And of course, the number of bands and the diversity in the genres as well. And that is a really big thing to notice. And as for Armament, I don't know. I think we have faced the challenges all of you guys have faced with the lineup changes, and the timeline stands a challenge for us to hold, stay together and keep making music. And yeah, I mean, the enthusiasm from the crowd, the passion from the Kolkata scene, and the people attending gigs, that has always driven us. And just to keep that never give up attitude, that's all thanks to the people who are listening to us, and they've been supporting us.
So the next question is directed towards Armament, particularly. So, you guys, you are like debuting in this year's pit for the first time. Previously also you have played a lot of gigs, been involved with a lot of gigs that have like left an indelible impression in the metal scene of the city. So what are you expecting? Like, what are your expectations from your first pit ever this year?
For me personally, I have gone up on stage in pit with my other project in Human, and but yeah, I mean, with Armament, it's like I've always said, it's a special moment because me and Prashanada, I think it has been ages that we were in plans to make this happen. Like I don't know, since a long time, and we are just glad that this finally could happen. And of course, we expect new people, we expect new faces, which is like the best thing to see when we go and play. And yeah, that is like priority one for us, to see new people and to spread the music, and give the music back to our new audience, and wherever we go. And of course, there'll be similar faces and all. And there are new bands coming from outstation bands. Looking forward to those acts as well. And of course, Inner Sanctum, one of the veterans of the Indian metal scene, to be honest. And it's a great thing that they could join us for this event, just making it bigger. And it's a mark of prestige for us. I mean, if we being a part of this event, it's like a checkpoint in the bucket list. So yeah, it's a very special moment. We are looking really, really forward to it.
That's amazing to hear from you guys. Okay, so in Human and Chronic Xorn, this question is for you. So, since the beginning of the pit, you guys have played with a lot of bands, some of which are like defunct right now, right? So, why do you think bands break up so easily? And do you think this implies that there is a bigger problem that challenges the scene in the city?
For what I believe, if I consider myself as an example, because uh, amongst all the people here in the meeting today, I think I am exposed to the most variety of music, performing myself, not just listening, but performing and producing myself. So from what I believe, there's a very thin line between fun and passion. For all of us out here, I think metal is not fun. It is fun later, it is passion first. Okay, if you're passionate about something, if it's just not for the sake of having fun, if it is not just for the sake of getting together, forming a band, having some fun, it's a lot more than that. And for Chronic Xorn, that's why we have stuck together for so long. Unfortunately, even we had a lot of member changes. We constantly had member changes, but we never gave up, because you don't give up on your passion just like that. It was never meant for it was not a momentary thing. Like when I not shifted, but then again, when I got inculcated into the metal scene, when I fell in love with metal, I didn't want to look back. It was just not like I wanted to feel cool, that's why I'm liking metal. or I didn't. It's not like I wanted to have a group where I can have some fun and party and do all sort of things and feel happy about it. It was not for that. Okay, it was a lot more than that. It was a lot more serious than that, which also led to the fact that I used to push myself. I still try and push myself uh, to do better for Chronic Xorn.
Chiming into this, expanding on what he said, I personally think, because having been in a band which was active for a period, then defunct, then again active, I'll tell you the factor which I always feel is, yes, definitely the fun factor is some people are going to, but that's going to, if it's going to outgrow you, it's not going to be there. But there are some very harsh realities we have to wake up. If you've seen the documentary long back called The Decline of Western Civilization Part 2, even at that point of time in the 80s, Dave Mustaine ends up telling that don't lose your day job, because this is not for everyone. You never know there's a lot of luck involved. If you're trying to make this be your main thing, you have to forget it. And this was a band like Megadeth speaking back then at the height of it. So, in terms of commercial thing, look at any of the bands, even right now abroad, who are like, they probably do side projects all the time if they really need to, and they have to tour to really earn their bread and butter. And in India, where English metal music, I'm not even going into vernacular, you really have no scope to really have any commercial thing. And very honestly speaking, you have to eat first before you play music. And if you can't afford your food, if you can't pay your bills, you're going to be in a lot of trouble. And most of us in families, you will notice that the music happens, that the bands happen when you're in your college years, when you just have that maturity, when you've come up, got that little bit of independence, and that is the moment you can do. Because the moment your college is off and you're working, the pressure will come from your family, and everybody will say, now you have to start being the breadwinner. And when you're getting into work, believe me, like for me, I stopped playing guitar for 2 years. I could not negotiate that jump from work, from college education to work was huge. Like literally, even if I wanted, irrespective of the passion I had, I just could not negotiate the first few months when I was working. Like I could not turn my head around it. So where your creativity and everything will just go out of the window at that point of time, because you're trying to really get in terms with life. It was only after that period that, when Inhuman was defunct, that where I got a stable position where I can, have the privilege of that my money is set, that my life is set. Now I can again work back on it, that I could not go. It was not possible. I will not say it is possible for everyone. There are a lot of people having very different circumstances in their life, but anybody who still chooses to do English metal music in this city, or in this country rather, hats off to you. No matter how long your longevity or anything is, good for you. And I hope, like, whatever little time you've invested, it's basically a thankless job. Everybody knows it. They're doing it for themselves. So good for them. I will not judge anyone who's not been able to like really sustain it off, because it's not possible. Like independent musicians who are playing even English, anything, they don't make it.
Speaking about DIY things and efforts, which is good and everything, but I guess then also you guys have been a part of a major record label for a while, if I'm not wrong.
Transcending obscurity, yes.
Yeah,
Transcending
transcending obscurity, transcending obscurity. I guess your first record came out through that label.
First try.
Yeah. So I was just going to ask that, what's the difference when you are producing a record in a total DIY effort, and when you are producing it under record level? Like, what are the pros and cons? Like, and in the Indian context, Indian metal scene context, does it really make any difference having a, support of a record label and or doing it on your own?
That is like an amazing question that you asked, actually. So basically, like I think everyone here will agree to the fact that record labels are not the same like they used to be back in the days. So record labels were suppose something they were there to promote the music, and as well as the bands, as long as they saw business from the bands. Because there were a lot of producers back in the 80s and 90s. They didn't give I don't think they give too much shit about what genre or what style of music they played, as long as there was a crowd attending the gigs and attending the events. So I think a lot of things have changed since then. And even record labels, there are a lot of record labels in India only, because since metal is not like they said, like there's the ugly child of music, And there's a lot of challenges even for a record label owner to promote their content up to the commercial platforms. So based on that, there are a lot of restrictions and a lot of do's and don'ts that record labels follow when they are producing or they are releasing a band. For us, 2015, we recorded the material in 2014. Basically, it was supposed to come out in Bangalore Open Air, where we got to play with Destruction. And we got hung up due to few, I mean, unfortunate events with our then record label that we were supposed to release to. And eventually we came across Kunal Choksi and his Transcending Obscurity label, and he was a gem of a guy to help us with the thing. But prior to that, the entire production process was handled by the band itself, and it is always like that. And the initial cost of an album or a production is always handled by the band, unless and until it's a commercial level record label that will fund you for your this thing. So apart from that, what we can look forward to record labels is like gigs and tours, which is something hard to find because like I said, there are a lot of organizers. What we need is to get the music out of this country, out of the country where this music is more heard. There are a lot of people in Europe, probably. There are a lot of people in South America or wherever, there are all the places. They are not even aware of the Kolkata or probably the Indian metal scene in details. So when they hear a band, they'll be like, I can't believe like such a band exists from the country. So bringing this music to those people is an important factor, I think, the record labels can push for. And with the obligations the record label face is the monetary thing, because they invest behind a band, and bands sometimes they won't have that cash or probably the amount that they can market their music up to the international standards. So sometimes the record labels are funding them, but at the end of the day, if the consistency of making music is not there from the musicians like us, the record labels might also find it difficult to promote the music on a consistent basis. So these are the challenges that I think both the bands, the musicians, and the record labels face when it comes to promote the music outside this country. And yeah, I mean, Transcending Obscurity has been really helpful. We got the music out, they promoted the music outside. We got our CDs sold in Australia, Japan, and Germany, and it was crazy for us back then. And even now also, we are probably going to experiment on the next release that is coming up. Probably is going to be an independent release, because at the end of the day, the main investment is coming from the band. So as long as that is out of the way, once the music goes out, probably we'll get a label. It's time will tell.
Okay, so my next question was to Xorn and Inhuman. As veteran performers of the pit, like, do you have any kind of like message or words of wisdom for the bands who are debuting this year? Because apparently we have several new bands like joining this lineup this year. Several exciting bands joining for this event this year. So do you have any such words for them, like what to expect, and and like what will be about?
There's nothing. It's just have fun. Give it your best shot. It's just what it is. That's how that was why the pit was found. So that you could go on stage, just have fun. Because before that, we really didn't have any place to showcase our music and everything. So go there, give it the best shot with whatever the limitations and everything. Just give what you have.
And playing in pit is not the ultimatum for any band. Like, it's not the ultimate stage. So it will happen for the next years. But what I would like to say that do stick together, do it honestly, play your music. That's it.
So going back to Armament, you have been touring a lot these days, like especially with your Endless Aggression tour concluding recently at the Kolkata Threat Fest. So, would you tell us a bit about how things panned out, especially compared to the pre-pandemic days? Because apparently there's a lot of difference how the crowd perceive live events or live shows compared to the pre-pandemic days and the post-pandemic days with a lot of restrictions, I guess, and there's so many SOPs to follow and whatever. So, how was the tour overall, and did you notice any difference in the people's general attitude towards going to a metal gig, from your perspective in this throughout this tour?
Um, Apart from the health and the all the health related issues, I think the pandemic has affected us in a positive way that I can tell, because we were composing songs for the new album, and as many of you might know, like our drummer Rakshit, he recently left for UK for his higher studies and all. And so this plan was supposed to happen like back in 2020 itself. So had the pandemic not been there, he would probably be gone by then. So in that respect, like it has been a positive thing, and we tried to build up from there. We tried to set our own things so that we can make music from home, and lot of creativity happened during 2020 and 21 during that time. And yeah, I mean, eventually we finished composing for the album, and we were fortunate enough to record the album last year itself. And yeah, I mean, with the tour, talking about the tour, uh, we were planning to release the album a few months earlier, actually. We have announced accordingly as well, but few things got held up, the usual scenes, and we'll probably release it by the end of this year. And with the tour planning and all, we had this going within ourselves for a while. We just wanted, like, we were actually looking for a couple of bands to tour together. And since Rakshit, our drummer, he already had a project of his own called Piston. It's a thrash metal band from Bangalore. And you all know War Marshal from Hyderabad. Shomik, he's from the city only. So we are like really good friends, and we have been in touch, and we ended up discussing about the store, and things just fell into place, just one or two meetings, and we knew what we wanted from this event. We wanted a good promotion before the album comes out. Sure. And we wanted to play in different cities where we haven't played before, and
we wanted to reach out to the maximum people.
Exactly, because like I've already mentioned, it is the best thing when you find new listeners for your music.
Exactly.
And we have been playing like number of gigs in Bangalore and Kolkata. Apart from that, like we have played Mumbai before, but cities like Kochi, Imphal, Guwahati, this has been like places, Hyderabad, we haven't visited these places before, and it has been a great experience. I mean, just the culture and the way people approach gigs is like different everywhere. It's different in Bangalore, it's different in Kolkata, it's different in Kochi, it's different in Hyderabad, Imphal, Guwahati, everywhere. And that is the best thing you get to see and learn, even as an audience, even as a musician. And you can bring that back when you come back to your city and share these kind of experiences. Like I'm fortunate enough to share my experience with you guys. And this is the best thing that we can talk about the other cities and how metal is out there, because at the end of the day, everything is coming from a certain country, which we all represent. And this positivity needs to be shared everywhere, And apart from experience, like, experiencing the audience, the food is good, the climate is good,
but it was very hectic. Touring is very hectic because you have to, you have to manage your time, you have to manage your food, you have to manage your stay. Because see, whenever you're touring, when you're planning for a tour, you cannot expect all the organizers to, go hand in hand.
Exactly, very important.
So like we have to contact them, we have to tell them, like this is what we are planning, this date and everything, and managing all these things, and then going there, finding a stay for our own, spending from our own pockets, right? So all these things is very hectic when it comes to playing.
Even staying at
exactly
metro dorms and all. This has been there has been good experience.
After that, like sound checking without even like no sleep, no food. Like it was,
I mean, to be honest,
crazy.
This is the first time we were doing back-to-back gigs, like Saturday, Sunday gigs. So, and that too, it wasn't for once, it happened for 2-3 weeks together. So that was a big challenge and experience for us. So we had to like prepare ourselves like mentally and both physically because of that. Because we had our day jobs and we had to travel. Like Friday, I'm doing work, and Saturday I'll be in Kochi, Sunday I'll be in Bangalore, and Monday I'll be back in Kolkata doing my work. So that takes a lot of money also, like a lot of funding needs to, a lot of planning that was there. And yeah, the challenges were great, and I think it has been a very good experience, a great learning curve for us. And I'm sure like everyone should go through this, because at the end of the day, a tour is something at this day and age, a tour is something a band will do on their own. As just self-promotion. We don't have like agents, we don't have booking agents who will probably organize all the gigs and all, probably fund for it, And like Vivek mentioned, like all the organizers won't be on the same page with your timing, with your whatever you have to offer, because you need to get something out of the gig as well. So yeah, I mean, overall it has been a great learning.
So, with the advent of a lot of like these days, we see a lot of commercial gigs happening, right? In the country. So with the advent of such commercial gigs, do you think a DIY gig like it could like thrive, like it has a bright future ahead?
It has till date. I mean, when we were doing it, commercial music was still at its height. When Pit was at its golden era, even then commercial music was at. See, that's why it is called quote unquote commercial music, popular music. Popular music will always be at its height all the time. That's why it's popular. For DIY will remain DIY, and it will keep on happening the way it is. And every time Pit happens, we have seen people, they go mad, they go crazy. Just a simple example, like Topun Theatre, we used to do
Pit 5.
Yeah, Topun Theatre. The Topun Theatre can accommodate around 600 people. We had 1,300 people. Okay, in Pit. Later, when we did the last Pit at Top Cats Issue, and back then Top Cats Issue was just emerging as a venue, and Top Cats Issue had to be locked down during the day of the show because of the massive turnout. And suddenly Top Cats Issue is in front of everyone's eyes. It happened because of Pit. So I think these are two separate paths that we have. Okay, we will keep on walking on the same path that we are walking. Yes, obviously it's difficult to get the show together, as I was mentioning. But then again, yeah, I mean, we also got busier with our lives. Okay, we are getting older. We are getting more on responsibilities, which has nothing to do with music. So if and when we are getting time, beat Pit, beat any other event, beat any other DIY event, it's the same motive. Let's get together, let's have some fun. And that will keep on happening as long as we survive, as long as we thrive. And that ain't gonna stop from our end anyway, because we love doing what we are doing.
So this is just a general question, like to all the bands here that we have amongst us. So what can you expect, this year's edition of the Pit? And if there is a message, from you people towards your fans and for our viewers as well, who would be, watching this interview once it gets, posted. So what's the message to the fans? What should they expect in the gig, and especially from newer generation people? I know, like the people who have been attending Pit every year, they know, they have an idea like what the show is about and everything. If you have anything to say to the newer generation of people who have just started to scratch the surface of heavy metal, for that matter, and who have been deprived of live shows for the past 2 years, I guess, as well. For that goes for them as well. So what can they expect? And just a brief.
I think Armament should say it first because it's their first time in the pit. I think they should take this question first.
Yeah, I mean, we have said this before. We are going to say this again, and every time we are being asked. So yeah, we are fucking excited to play this gig, and yeah, this is going to be our first time after, I mean, ages of planning, I think. So eventually, we are getting to do this. This is the best thing for us, and at the same time, we'll be having a little change in the lineup. From the band's end, so we have the Cetrovid's drummer joining us for this set, and since left is yes left, so it's like a news which we are going to announce in a couple of days from the band page as well. And kudos to him, like, for helping us out for this event, because probably I don't know, we probably wouldn't have ended up playing here at this gig as well if we didn't get a suitable drummer, and we are really looking forward to work with him for this gig as well. And yeah, I mean, looking forward to see new faces, new crowd, and we'll be playing like new songs from the upcoming album, which is going to come out at the end of this year. Couple of months left, so hold on to your seats, and we'll be playing all the new tracks from the album as well. So
heard it here first.
Yes, you heard it here first.
So first of all, it's a great lineup.
Yeah,
it's an amazing lineup, and like, there's a lot of gigs happening. So I think, I don't know, like, for me, Pit has one of the best lineups till date, as in this span of like few months, it has a really great lineup. So I think like, people should invest money.
Post pandemic, this is the first Pit that is happening, is it?
Yeah.
So
exactly.
I mean, so much.
So
there's like a lot of anticipation for everyone.
Exactly, and I would just say, like, buy your tickets, book your tickets very soon, because like, it's just a few days away, right?
Yeah, and it's in Jadavpur anyway,
exactly.
So you'll probably end up smoking up or drinking there anyway, for no reason. So just join in, just get your pass and go inside the venue and enjoy some metal.
Exactly. Like, I don't think you'll like, ever regret this gig.
Yeah.
So yeah, like, just
like, all the best to all the bands, Chronic Xorn, Inhuman, and Cetrovid debuting with their first gig in the city also. Yeah,
it's Broken Barons, that's of course, and also
looking forward to welcome Inner Sanctum as well. Yes,
absolutely. From the Xorn camp, we can say that again, it for a really long time we were kind of fighting with it, but then again, I think it's finally time for us to release the 4th edition of Necropolis. So I think that we will be performing that song in Pit. So we are actually working up on that song. We are getting the lyrics together, we're getting the music together. So I'm really hoping, because what better place than Pit in Kolkata for a band who has been in Kolkata for the longest time, and we'll be here till we breathe, I think. So it's really a great moment for us. We are feeling absolutely excited. It doesn't really matter whether it's Pit 10 or Pit 100. I think when it's Pit 100, we'll be equally excited, and then maybe releasing some new material back then also. But as of now, it's Necropolis 4, which is coming up in Pit 10, and we'll be trying our best, as always, to entertain the crowd. So please go grab those passes, do drop in, and just let's have a great evening together with all the bands and a great crazy lineup. Really a fresh lineup rather than what I should say, a great lineup. And it's a metal fest. It's a beautiful evening that we all gonna spend together with the bands, with the crowd, and everything. And yeah, that's all.
So I just want everybody to just have fun. Great fresh lineup. Grab your tickets right now. Get it there. Get it done. And let's join us on the 5th of November. Let's have a lot of fun.
So I guess this is it. We have reached the conclusion of this amazing interaction we had today. I mean, it went way beyond what beyond our expectation, I guess. We went to depth and talked about the scene and the initial nascent years of the Pate and the Kolkata metal scene in general, the challenges, the crests and troughs the bands had to go through to reach to the point they are today. And yeah, please don't forget these amazing bands, these three amazing, like one of the leading bands from the Indian metal, like Chronic Xorn, Armament, and Inhuman. All three of them will be performing at the its 10th edition that is going to get underway in November 5th, 2022. So please don't forget that, guys. This is for our viewers. And apart from that, the event will also be having other bands like Setravi, Thirst of Cost, Broken Barons. So please don't forget to check the lineup and just attend the gig and get your tickets booked as soon as possible, because this is gonna be something big. Like all the premier bands from the Kolkata metal scene will be there. So I don't think you wanna miss out on this opportunity.
Kolkata
Yes.
and from outside Kolkata.
Links to the tickets for the pit will be put up on our respective pages, and also in the comment section of this interview, which will be released from Headtill's page and Wasajam's Facebook pages. And also you can check out the tickets in Wasajam's Linktree, which you'll find in our Instagram pages description box. And they're selling out fast, so grab them real quick.
Yes, and also don't forget to get the pit merchandise, which is, I guess,
Yes.
the link to the merchandise is up there on the official
Yes,
Facebook
super
page.
rad though. Love them. Love them.
Yes,
Love those
absolutely. So yeah,
So yeah,
so it was really nice having you guys with us for this
Same here.
exclusive interaction.
thank you for giving
Very
us
It was
the
a
time
pleasure.
It was
for
a
the
pleasure.
interview.
Thank you, Shomali and Saurabh from Headtils
Very
for this amazing
insightful.
Yes,
session.
yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Thank
The
you guys.
pleasure is
for
all
having
ours.
us. Thank you.
Okay,
Yes.
cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers
good
and
night.
have a happy and safe Diwali, everyone.
Yes.
And
Yeah,
culture.
Stay
absolutely.
metal. Stay metal.
Yeah, stay metal.